foggy and frosty. It is 33 degrees, I think, right now. What we need to do right now is, before we go and do a couple washes here, yesterday when we were packing up, we broke the red tip off of this, and without that cap being on there in the way that it's broken, when the pump purges, or when the pump turns on, you get a leakage. So that's actually closed right now a little bit, but it's still bubbling. If I take some vice grips and I turn that, it'll start squirting out. So number one, we'll bleed that off real quick. Okay. See if we can go in here and find. Got some extra little ball house here. With our glue. All right, let's see what kind of mess we can make here this morning. It is cold. I've got these have like fleece on the inside. They're like the rubber work gloves that I wear washing, but they're for cold weather, so hopefully they're nice this winter. There's still some pressure on this line. I can feel it. It's gonna come blasting out. Just a little bit, okay. All right, so see, this is why you have to winterize your shit. Excuse my language. That's why I don't like going this far into the season. This actually is frozen as well. I got a couple washes I'm going to do today. It's going to warm up. It's going to be 50 degrees later on. But the problem is these mornings, and I like to get up and get my stuff done. I like to be at my places by 7 a.m. Get the job done while it's early. I don't want to wait till noon or 1 o'clock for the freezing temps to go away. So we have a couple washes today, and I had one next week that I texted. We're supposed to be 32 degrees every night next week. I texted him and said that I'm coming today or I'm not coming at all. So I want to winterize my stuff. I said if the push up in time, it's just one wash, and it's actually like the front of the house. So I'm not gonna, that's ice, it's frozen. I'm not gonna like risk my equipment and stuff for one front of the house. So I said I'm coming or I'm not today. And if not, I will make them my first stop in the spring, but I'll know in a little bit if we're going today or not. So something I've learned in the past year, I don't know how much is in this reel, and I don't know, I think this whole leg is frozen right there, so when I take this off, it might not spill too much, but just in case it does, it's good to get your goo. Ready on the inside of this ball. A little bit in there. And another incredibly smart thing to do is to close it. So when you get it threaded on there, it stays closed. We're going to hold it up. Yes, I do. That's what we need. She's in there. I'm just not at a good angle. There we go. up so it doesn't. There's a little bit coming out here. Trying to tighten this without breaking this blue one off. Man, hands are cold this morning. I think we might be tight here. So what, having this ball valve on here, what this does for me is allows me to disconnect the pump easily from the reel without the reel emptying out. That way I can do maintenance on the pump if it needed it. I could, I rinse my pump that way. Makes it really easy to rinse the pump without having to rinse the line. You don't have to rinse these soft wash hoses. So I don't want to have to run water through the pump, through the line for no reason when I can just disconnect the line from the pump, rinse the pump, go on our merry way. So when you talk about the cold weather and the winterization of stuff, you know, the tanks aren't going to freeze at 32 degrees. You know, there's 50 gallons of water in there, 50 gallons on the other side. You know, I think it takes a lot. I think chlorine will freeze. I think bleach does freeze. I think I've looked that up, but it takes a lot. But this does not take a lot to freeze. Your pumps, I'm gonna go check the water side in a minute. See if the hose is frozen. This spring I drove up to Ticonderoga for one of my first jobs of the season. It's about an hour north of here. And I got up there early April. I think April 5th was my first job. And it was an exact situation that we're having now. It's, you know, it's going to be 50 degrees today. It was going to be 50 degrees in that afternoon, but overnight we're seeing the cool, cold temperatures. And I got to this job and tanks weren't frozen, tanks were fine, pumps were fine, but the hose reel was all froze up. The hose reel was all froze up, and I literally had to just pull out all 200 feet and let it sit in the sun. 7:30 a.m. All right, that'll be good to go. Put our stuff back in a minute. At 7:30 a.m. and I just had to wait, and I just kept having to put water through it, and eventually it was good. And then I had to go the very next day. I went out to a job, and I came out here in the morning with a couple pots of hot water, and I dumped it on the reel so it all seeped down so the reel wasn't frozen. And you know, we had a good season. I'm not interested in messing around too long here, so today's going to be it, and then we'll be doing some gutter cleaning and stuff. But see if we can get some flow out of here. All right, well, that's obviously fine. That's obviously fine. So let's get this cleaned up. We're gonna get stuff done today, and that's gonna be it for us. That's gonna be it for us, and then we're gonna be back to plowing here pretty soon. Okay. There you have it. 32 degrees this morning. All right, we got a house wash here this morning. It is a whopping 34 degrees now. A little bit of algae here. It's going to be another one of our relatively light washes here. A little bit of green. Might go a little higher on the chem than normal, because like I said, today's going to be our last day. I'm going to make sure, get in here, going to make sure that we are running out of chem. See what we got going on here. A little bit up there. Clean this trim up nice and white. Not bad. Oh, there is a gate here. Good. But there's not a little helper on this side. Rats. All right, so not too bad, not too bad. It's chilly. We got a text back from our other house wash that we were supposed to do next week, and they say it's cool to come today. So we're gonna do this wash, a buddy's house and church. The lady that texted me, which is just a front, and then a roof wash. And we're gonna be done. It's cold next week, all freezing temps. We'll still be doing some gutter cleans here and there, but we're done washing today. I'll probably break that up into a couple videos, especially the roof wash video. That one will probably come last, and that'll be a neat video. It's pretty neat how we got that roof wash. This side looks pretty good. We'll just skip this side. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, let's get hooked up to some water here. They have new paint on this mailbox, they said. So new paint on the door, mailbox, door, oh, and garage door. So I'm sure that they will get a little wet, especially that mailbox, but we are not going to directly hit it with anything. So we'll get ready to go here. All right, we got all that stuff cleaned off. It's nice to move it when you can. A few videos ago, I did a roof wash on a mossy roof, did a bunch of brushing, and then there's no gutter, so it was kind of running off the roof, hitting the concrete, and it was kind of cleaning up a little bit. So I took some SH, there was a roof wash mix, and I put it all over the concrete. And a couple people had, and there was a set of tires, and there was a doormat, which I didn't move, I just washed around it. Multiple people asked, and when I get multiple questions on the same video, I like to address it. Multiple people asked why I just went around the objects and I didn't move them. Would have left a cleaner, obviously a cleaner result. Once those objects get moved, it's going to be nice dark and black under there. I was hired by the property owner to clean that property, where that concrete was, and those doors, those were either Airbnbs or long-term rentals. The tires, the doormat, didn't belong to the homeowner. I never know, or at least in that case I didn't know, if the homeowners had told them that I was coming, when I was coming. So in the event that you got tires sitting out front and they're 100, 200 bucks a pop, and that guy doesn't know who I am or while I'm there, and maybe he works nights, maybe he's waking up at my 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe it's his 1 a.m, you know what I mean, and he sees some random guy outside with an ugly mug and a beard touching his tires, you don't ever want to get into an issue, especially with the way things are these days. So it was not the homeowner's belongings, it belonged to the people in the building, and I just would like to err on the side of caution when I do this kind of stuff, and just not touch anyone's stuff. It was stuff that wouldn't be bothered by the SH. You know, it's an outdoor doormat and tires. If it was something that was, you know, cotton based, something that the bleach would have an issue with, I would move it. But in that instance, I figured I would just leave it and not touch it, not have any issues of he touched my stuff. And it is just, unfortunately, something that I like to think about, have to think about. We should all think about when you're at a place that doesn't belong to the person that's paying you. It's not their stuff. It's a crazy world we live in, and you never know what could or could not come through the glass at you, you know what I mean? So I just don't touch it. But that is just being precautious. And if the homeowner, if the property owner was to one day have those guys move out, or the guy put the tires on his car or move the doormat, and they're like, wow, that's really uneven and noticeable, that really black spot, I would just go over and clean it up. They're right down the road from me. But that's why. So I had, I think, like 3 or 4 guys ask that same question. It was a great question. It was an odd thing to see. You know, typically you don't just purposely go around stuff. But that is my thinking on why, and that is because I had no idea if they knew who I was, why I was there, and it didn't belong to me, and it didn't belong to the person paying me, so they just left it. Oh, also, and another thing is, I think I kind of mentioned it, but I wasn't there to clean the concrete. Like I said, it was just running off the roof. So if the homeowner had paid me to clean the concrete, it would have been a little bit of a different story. But whew, okay, I just want to touch on that because I know I record a lot of stuff, and you know, some stuff I explain and some stuff I don't. This place is really close to, so if you take that right hand turn, go up the street and go left, I did a very mossy roof wash a couple videos ago, and they are a Plow account. And then because of them being right here in the same town that I am at, and also down the street from this other account, I've already talked to them about plowing. So they said they're interested. No solid or firm deal, but you might see this house again when the white stuff falls. All right, let's go, let's just go this way. All right, so we are wrapped right around here. We'll start right here on this corner. Been playing around, getting some air out of this line. We it looks like a few videos ago, which a few days ago for you guys, a few weeks ago for me, I did not think that this pump was going to make it this long. Since today is our last day, it might just make it. It might just make it. Got some air still coming out. We're gonna put it to work today. We're gonna flow a lot of chem through here. We got a roof wash going on later. On these windows, that white aluminum trim is, mold loves getting on that. All right. Get some high spots, and then we'll get the fan spray out and get the lower spots just a little easier. When the pump primes it right up against the nozzles, when you get the best pressure, when it's all messed up like this. I've been running really low chem for a while. It's a little higher today, and you know, the last few washes, last few weeks, it's been really low. And now that it's up a little higher today, it hits your face and you're like, oh yeah. It's nice using the low percentages, but it makes a, you know, it makes a big difference using a little higher. and you're doing multiple a day, it's nice to get in and out, so you run it a little hotter, your dwell time shorter. But we're not in any hurry these days. You have to like do all the work for it. You can't just like get the stream anywhere. You gotta do all the legwork. I know a lot of people kind of have, you know, they want to get into this, they want to get into something different, better their income a little bit. But it's hard to sometimes go out. Change my tip here. It's hard to go out, spend a lot of money up front. You know, maybe you can't afford the pump you want, the gallon per minute and the PSI and all that you want right off the bat. Well, right now this is like equivalent. This is a 6 gallon per minute pump. This is a 6 gallon per minute pump. I don't think we're getting that. I mean, the flow is like relatively okay. You're lacking the pressure. So this pump, brand new, I believe is 70 PSI. I could be wrong, but it's something like that. And I don't think that we're getting, I don't think we're getting the PSI, the pressure to send it. I did a little bit of a half-hour flow test the other day against my other pump without the tips on it, and that other pump is in really good shape. It's only flowing water. Sounds really good, runs really good, and it was actually relatively comparable to what that much better pump is doing. But that pump will still shoot 40 to 50 feet like this one used to. It'll still shoot 40 to 50 feet, but like I said, they're kind of flowing the same amount. So it's not like there's, you know, corrosion in there or any sort of restriction, like restricting the flow. I think it's just the pump is losing its juice and is not able to operate the way that it once did. So I always wonder, you know, what exactly is happening in these pumps when they start to go bad. I don't think it's necessarily corrosion. I'm sure that's a factor, but I couldn't rinse my pumps more than I rinse my pumps. I do a really good job rinsing my pumps after every single job. After every single job, they get rinsed. Not like just the end of the day, every single job. So there's never anything sitting in there longer than it needs to. The pump is upside down, so if there ever is a leak of SH and it kind of drips, it doesn't drip. You hear that thing? It doesn't drip into the motor. They are watertight, so I don't worry about them being in the rain too much, although I think this winter I'm going to make a little cover for them. I think overall they're treated very well. I really just think it's like a PSI. We're gonna do this. This has got to get taken care of a little bit. It's gonna, that's really dirty. And everything from up there, and when I clean that, it's just gonna streak right through it. And it's gonna look even worse than it does, so might as well make sure it's gonna be even. And this is not a house wash mix, or I'm sorry, this is not a roof wash mix. So it's not going to turn white or make any drastic changes right away. But by the time we're done, you know, usually if you hit something like that with 4, 5, 6%, it's going to start changing right away. I don't know. We might see some change by the time we're done here. but I'm not here to really remove it or do anything. I just don't want there to be some bunch of ugly streaking. That's like actually something that's pretty annoying sometimes actually, is you go to someone's house just for a roof wash, but they got siding up above, an overhang of an addition of some sort, whatever it might be. Raised ranch sometimes have like a lower kick out in the front, and you just put a little house wash mix up there. You're just trying to do what I'm doing right now, and then like the roof is streaking, so it's like, ah, come on. Sometimes a house wash mix will do just enough. Okay, we are wrapped right around here with just kidding. Made you think you were crazy for a minute. Thought the video was starting over. Look, man, I'm out here by myself. I'm bored. It's my entertainment. We're gonna rinse all this, and water's gonna go down this. I'll put some pressure from the hose on these block, and then before we turn the corner with the red hose, we'll hit that one more time, just the foundation. We'll let that dwell indefinitely. Let's see what's going on here. Much better. We'll knock a little bit of this off, and we'll hit that one more time. Like I was saying, that's why you want that little bit of that stronger chem up on that stuff, because it grows in layers, so you're breaking down that exterior lichen and mold and algae, and you can see it getting all rinsed away, but there's still some junk behind it. Pretty nice. A lot of people buying these rental properties, man, up in Lake George, all these Airbnbs. But that's it's a really nice thing for me. Do this corner here before we go through the fence. It's a really nice thing for me and guys like me in areas like mine, because it's a rental property and I know that they don't live here. So who's going to maintain it for it? There's no gutters, but if there's gutters on it, you know, who's going to maintain the gutters? Who's going to wash the house? Who's going to plow it for them in the winter? They don't live here. So we got Gore Mountain. I'm sure this place will be booked all the time, and they're going to need it open. So Airbnb people are really good to get your name to, especially if you're in the Northeast and you know you got winter renters, as well as laneways that need to be maintained. Whew. Now I'm getting chilly again here. All right, we're gonna let this lower section dwell, but I want to get up on this roof. I think it's just like I can't see low. Even if I could reach that, like a lawnmower backfire. Even if I could reach that, it's just sloppy. I can't see what's down here. I want to get that trim really nice. Hear that? Sounds like a gunshot, but it's a muffler. Johnny, get your gun. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm trying to work here. God. There's no room to work around here. Now, that is something that I'm definitely going to pitch. This is something, I mean, a lot of this is actually just going to get cleaned up by default today, so we'll scratch that. But and this roof I think is fine actually up here. Yep. But if it wasn't that's the stuff you got to look for. You got to look for that stuff. One job is never enough. You need a second, you need a third. I always like to clean those things up, but I don't like to blast them. That already coming clean. Yeah. It's one thing I do miss more than my stream shooter on this thing is, makes me nervous, is the fan spray. When this thing's flowing real good, the fan spray is unbelievable. It's a nice tip. Just your basic J-rod. Yeah, people ask me about these all the time. This is just, if you go on Google and you just Google J-rod, like that's all it is. It's nothing fancy. It's very basic. Usually it comes with 4. One's a little wider than this, or I'm sorry, a little thinner and narrow. It gives like a really like a misty spray. Didn't like that, didn't care for it. You got the shooter tip, which I replaced with this. This is either an Assassin or a Davis shooter. I don't know. I got one of them is on the other gun, whichever one this isn't. They're all right. I mean, they're better than the normal tip that comes out of the J-rod, but both of them are like completely different tips, the Assassin and the shooter tip, Davis shooter tip, and they're like both the same. I mean, it definitely does make a little bit of difference, but if you're hung up on which one you're going to spend the money on, it doesn't matter. Just pick one. It's they're the same, and there's really no difference. Let's see, get that a little better. But yeah, that's all these are. So there's normally 4 of them on here, so I took the one it's pretty corroded, so I can't even read the number to you, but it's the one that doesn't suck. And then the shooter tip, which I replaced, like I said, and then I just took pliers and I broke that weld. See, And I ground it down with a grinder so it doesn't rip my gloves or get my fingers, but I just broke it because I really just need the 2. Don't need the clunk on there. It's weird. This time of year is weird for me because all summer long, start to finish, from the very first day that we could go out until now, we've been out 5, 6, on occasion 7 days a week. That happened a couple times in July, right around 4th of July. There are always going to be your last minute, gotta have it done right now people. And I won a couple jobs over some competitors by saying, well, I can be there on Sunday, I can be there on Saturday. That is not usual for me. I do not, I mean, I work so much during the week, 5, 6 jobs a day, up at 5. I am a little spoiled because I usually try to get home by 3 or 2. I'm usually not working past 3, but you're working every day and you're busy. I really don't want to work at the weekends and stuff like that, but I did a couple times and charged extra for it. Blatantly told them that if you wanted me to come, you know, it's gonna be an extra $100 or $200 depending on what the size of the house was. But that only happened one or two weekends. But now we're getting into, now we're going from 5 to 6 to 7 jobs a day, every single day, to this is my last day. And then even leading up to this, it was one a day or 2 a day, just because only a few people want things done, and there's just not enough to fill the plate. I stopped all my marketing weeks ago because, as I said before, whatever you're marketing for now is for future business. So I stopped marketing before we got here, and then I've been doing, this lady contacted me, found me on Google, and a couple other stuff has been referrals. Some of the recent videos have been people that hired me for plowing, whether through yard signs or just conversation on the phone. I've done some properties for them, and you know, not much of it is coming from marketing, which is really nice, because every dollar of this, except for the $4 or $5 that I spend in chlorine, is going into my pocket and not to my marketing campaign. But we're starting to, all right, so the garage door, I gotta remember, the garage door is gonna get wet, but we're not gonna put chem on it, and we're not going to directly spray it. But there's nothing I can really do about I don't think that getting it wet was an issue. I kind of have a feeling that a lot of people think that you're going to use a pressure washer, and I have a feeling that they thought that I was going to use a pressure washer. I don't think getting it wet's an issue, but I think that they didn't want it sprayed on. But either way, we're just going to avoid it to our best of our ability. The trim is not painted though. And now we're really slowing down, so it's like weird. It's weird not having stuff to do. It's weird not being busy. Me doing some gutter jobs here and there, and then that'll peter out, and then we'll just be plowing when the storms come. And it's just it's a weird transition. But one thing that is really nice, that I do really enjoy, is this is like the last few weeks is the most that I have enjoyed what I do, because it is very therapeutic in my opinion, and I don't have jobs lined up. I'm not all over the place. I'm done with all the projects on my house for for now, I guess, and I can really just do the job, take my time, and have fun. And it has been really enjoyable not being in a hurry. I mean, you always hear me say, you gotta hustle, you gotta hustle, you gotta hustle, and it is. It's a hustle. It's not easy. Now, I'm a young guy. I'm in pretty good shape. It's not easy doing 5-6 jobs a day. So if you're a little older, a little out of shape, and you're moving, I bet you boys are tired when you get home. And it's nice to just slow down now. It's nice to just slow down and take it easy. But like I said, it's just it's a transition, and it's new to me. I had to do it last year, and this is now the second year doing it, and it's just something to get used to. Just something to get used to. There's pros and cons to everything. Gotta rinse right through the fence there and get that spot that we hit. Man, I don't have any stake in GoPro except for the fact that I own their cameras, but man, reliable. I should take a picture with another camera of what this GoPro looks like. The front screen is all busted. I can like barely see. I can just see the battery life and that it is or is not recording. The back screen, I can't see anything. So when I record all my jobs, I just hope that the angle is good. And I just dropped this thing all over the place. It just took a nice tumble on the pavement. These things are still good. Trash can. Yeah, baby. Blow it out you. Beautiful day here. Sun's coming up here in the village. The trees. Oh, we got a little puppy action. Look at that little guy over there. Sucker for dogs. This guy's got him a little chore too. Little blowers are nice. One thing I'm waiting on in my house is those last few leaves to fall. I want to get everything cleaned up. I'd like to get one more mow in, one more weed whack, get it all nice and short for winter. I spent a lot of time out in that yard this year. Planted all that grass. Want to make sure I did it good for winter. I also planted all those trees, and I'm speaking as if you've seen it, and the videos are on the channel of all the work that I've done. If you haven't, check them out. But all those trees, about 30 trees, and I put them in my right-of-way on the town road, so they're back 5-6 feet, if not a little bit more than that. But I'm a little worried about them being in their adolescence, being that close to the road where they're gonna plow. So I might put a couple little wooden teepees or something over them. I gotta protect them. I'm not much of a green thumb. This is my first year really doing any kind of, you know, planting and stuff around my house. If you guys are you guys like a little vegetation and greenery on your property, and you've planted some trees and you live in the Northeast, some people recommend burlap because they're little, you know, they're young. So early spring we planted them, probably in end of April, early May, and then we got like a 1 inch, a heavy, you know, a spring snow, 1 or 2 inches of heavy spring snow, and it just kind of cripples all those little branches and stuff. So yeah, they're a little bit bigger, but that was just one tail end snowstorm. We're probably due for a couple good ones this year, and I want to possibly do the TP kind of deal with a little plywood over top or some OSB, some cheap OSB board, but also possibly burlap. But you know, we all know how it is on Google. Sometimes you look up one thing and you get answers for everything, and it's, well, which one's better? Sometimes that can be hard to find. So I might end up doing a little bit of both, but let me know what you guys do and to protect your vegetation. Not terribly worried, at least from my front trees. I'm not terribly worried about deer or anything like that. I know the burlap and stuff really helps with that. I just don't want the winter to ruin them. I don't want the snow load and the snow plows. I think plywood is going to be my best bet, and I think burlap won't hurt, but we'll see. You know, work a little smarter, not harder, right? You're up here. We're almost done here. I don't know how long we've been here. I didn't really look at the clock when we got here. Haven't been working too fast. All right, well, unfortunately, we got both the mailbox and the door and the garage door, even though we were going to try not to, but it looks okay. Looks like there's a little SH on there, so you kind of bubbling, right? So you might try to miss this really okay. Find like an inconspicuous spot here. No blue, so it's not coming off. This is metal right here. Looks okay. I'm gonna try to get some of that off there. With a nice little mist like we did before. You know, I don't think it's like, you know, it's not like it's fresh this morning, but it might have been done a day or two ago, and I really would have liked to. I would have really liked to have not had to touch it at all. But I mean, it is a challenge, right? It's hard to not. It's hard to wash what needs to be washed and then exclude what's going on here. So looks like some run marks, but I think that's just kind of like what's I was dumb. Dark gloves or dirty gloves. It might just be from what's wet. It could be from the bleach. You know, but all in all, we look good here. We're done here. Let's we got to get that stuff back on the porch. We got their flag sitting on my truck. Okay, we are at the 10 mark, maybe slightly below it. I don't know if it's enough to call it 9. I'd say I'd call it 10, and I would assume that we were at maybe 12 or 13, something like that. We weren't at 15. So what this means for us is that we had about a 2 to 3 gallon wash here. Did a lot of spraying, running a little bit more SH than normal. A little bit more SH than normal here. Bleed this out. Like to take pressure off the pump. We got our valves off. Close that up. Empty up that line into the old truck bed. Put this little addition on here so it didn't do that, but then I realized, you know, the only way to really keep that from coming out is this ball valve should be closer to here, because I can't really, I guess I could get that out there. I mean, it's this little bit of SH. And that's just going to be, so that's going to flush out the line from there to there. But I don't like flexing these things too much, especially right now. Look how stiff that is because it's cold out. Pump's clean, pump's rinsed. Doesn't take much. You're just flowing water out of this line, pushing everything out of the pump. And then I like to have that ball valve closed so the reel doesn't, when you reel this up, you can hear water come back into here sometimes. And I don't have any reason to suspect that it's bad for the pump, but I can't imagine that like the back pressure, the back feed into the pump is any good for it. The ball valve's nice. All right, pack this garden hose. We'll put everything back. Sayonara, on to the next one. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. $10:30. Started late today. See what time we got here. Sent a text message right before we got here. Oh, I've only been here an hour and a half. Okay, that's not bad at all. All right. Peace.